Hello, good evening. No, it's not Friday, it is Thursday. We're doing the show slightly earlier this week due to, well, you will find out very shortly why we're doing it early, but we are doing it early this week. But what a couple of weeks it has been. Wow. What more can you say? Obviously, we're going to be looking back on a fantastic few games that we've had. Of course, the win over Chelsea in the WSL. What a fantastic day that was. And of course, we've had the World Club Championships lifting another trophy. Wow, we're going to look at that as well. Of course, this weekend, another really, really big game. Could be a title decider, certainly for us, in that when we face Manchester City at the Emirates. And of course, the Champions League first playoff match is, of course, next midweek as well. So it's a busy time. It's a busy show, and we are going to get cracking. Maybe have to update some of them pictures actually now to reflect our latest trophy that, of course, we've won this week. Of course, joining us as always is, of course, the Lord himself, Andreas, fresh, of course, from the Emirates on Sunday. How are you this week?
Yeah, good evening, Richard. Good evening, everybody. I'm good, and I'm looking forward to the show. I'm glad to be back after these exciting days, weeks, and a lot has happened, a lot to discuss. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, the last few weeks, maybe there's been a hint of negativity around the team, and obviously on the show reflected that really because of the performances and, the way the season had been heading. But it's going to be nice this week, isn't it, when we have got some great performances and results to look back on. Of course, only one place we can start. We are going to rewind to a week and a half ago, Stamford Bridge, and what a performance this was. Now, of course, the most interesting thing about this was in the show, of course, before the game, none of us were particularly confident. Well, we certainly wasn't. A few people in the chat were fairly confident, but I wasn't really expecting too much from the game, if I'm totally honest. But what an amazing performance that was. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say it now. It probably was the best performance since the Champions League final. I don't think there's much doubt about that. From start to finish, really, to go to Stamford Bridge and dominate Chelsea, the champions, to dominate them in that way for most of that game was impressive. And, it was looking maybe, would the goal come? Would the goal come? Was it going to be another one of them games where we play well, don't get the goal and then concede and lose? And the first goal in that game for me was always going to be crucial. And no matter how well we were playing, if Chelsea had scored first, then I think we would have struggled to get anything from that game. But luckily, we kept it tight at the back. They didn't really trouble us too much overall. And, of course, the second half, we got the 2 goals. Beth, fantastic strike. And then, of course, Mariona, she does like a goal in the big games. And fully deserved. And we could have scored a few more, really. We could have won even more comfortably, which would have been nice. But ultimately, going there and winning in that manner, I mean, that was, I wouldn't say it was out of the blue. In this season, maybe it was a little bit unexpected, the performance. But I mean, Andreas, that was unbelievable, wasn't it? The performance for 90 minutes, we were just brilliant. Every single player was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very good performance. And Rene said it afterwards, when it really, really, really counts, then the team is there and performs. Yeah, that's correct. And that also indicates that only when it really, really counts, the team can perform. What about all the other games? They also count for the league title. And there we didn't perform. But to stay positive, it was a very good performance. Everybody gave, every player gave her everything and threw in what was possible. It was also, in my opinion, a tactical masterclass from Renee. She outcoached Sonja Pastor because we were expecting Chelsea to play with three defenders only and have 5 midfielders, and this our tactics was to play Emily Fox wide forward, and to have what's her name, Sandy Baltimore, who is not really a defender. She plays on the left side, to have her back, so to eliminate her offensive threat, and also to keep her as a defender against Foxy or Beth Mead, and that's not her strength. And Beth was very often inverting, as Katie McCabe did. So we had also these 5 midfielders, and the backline, with the 3 backline from Chelsea. This was not the best idea from Sonja Bompastor, but it's okay for us. But if you see the pace from Millie Bright, she's too slow on this level. And Naomi Girma, they paid 1 million for her, and she had a brilliant Olympics. But at Chelsea, she's not the leader they expected her to be. So there were a lot of weak points in Chelsea defense, and I don't understand why they didn't start a real left back. Anyway, it was their decision, and our tactics were just brilliant. Then Sonja tried to change something, and she changed her formation 2 times, and we always had the right answer to it. So tactically brilliant this time, and of course I can't understand why Lauren James was not starting, or Gura Wrighton was not in the starting 11, but that's not our problem. If you have such players on the bench, and look at our bench, we had 3 goalkeepers, 3 midfielders, 3 defenders, and 1 midfielder, and that was it. Okay, we had this teenager Sophie Harwood also on the bench, but she's also a defender. No options for the attacking line, and that's what René also said. It brought more clarity. A lot of players knew they had to stay 90 minutes on the pitch. There will not be any substitutes. They have to play the whole game, if there's no injury, of course. And this brought more clarity. You can do this for one-off games, for cup finals, or if you treat a game like this Chelsea game for us like a final, like a one-off game, you can handle this situation. But overall, you can't deal with a small squad. So it was really brilliant. And but finally, you have to say, if, as you already said, if Chelsea scores first, or if we go 0-0 to the last 10 minutes of the game, I don't think we will take anything out of it. No. Let's have 80th minute 0-0. I think Chelsea would score, or at best we take 1 point. So these 2 goals helped after 60 minutes, and not only one, but a second goal 6 or 7 minutes later, and this helped to bring it on the right path for us. And then Chelsea had to react. They had to try everything, and of course this opened space for us. And we know that our team can defend brilliantly if it really, really matters. They did in May last year, and they did at Stamford Bridge with a 2-0 ahead. Everything went our way, and thumbs up to everybody who gave their everything, to René, to the players. And I think after 90 minutes, you have to say it was a deserved win. But no reason to be overconfident. To be fair, or to be honest, it was a game at the edge, and one goal for Chelsea would have changed everything. So it's okay. And on the other hand, you can't expect one team in such a game to score 5 goals like Man City did a week later. But we were in a situation where we are lacking confidence. Nobody was expecting us to win. So I was so happy after the game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we haven't won away at Chelsea for a long time. So, the fact that in the past, particularly away at Chelsea, we've started really slowly. And Chelsea have flown out the blocks. Often they've got an early goal, and we've struggled after that to get back in the game. And that was the crucial thing for me was we started really strongly right from the start of the game, and that's what you have to do when you're playing Chelsea. That's where every time we've beaten Chelsea, it's because we've started well, and all the times we've lost to Chelsea, it's because we've started slowly and they've dominated the game from the off. So we got that right. And yeah, it does seem strange that Rene's talking about the big games. Yes, we have a lot of big games because we're at the top end of the tournaments. But you're right, to win a league title, you've got to play at that level every game, because if you don't, you're going to lose drop points, as we've found out this season. And is that a mentality issue? I mean, I think Rene's proven that in those big one-off games, like you said, cup finals and these one-off games, she gets her tactics generally right. And that's a great quality to have. So why can't she have the same level of tactical approach to the lesser games that are still important, just as important? Because you don't get the big games, or the big games aren't as important if the smaller games haven't gone your way in the first place. What we should be doing is, we'll talk about the Man City game in a bit, but we should be looking at, being in a real good title race. We're good enough. We've shown we're good enough, but yet we've dropped so many stupid points in games we should have won, and that's what's holding us back. And that's something that Rene needs to put right, because we've shown time and time again in those big games, in those big moments, she gets it right. The team get it right, and we produce these type of performances. This isn't the only time we've done it. We've done it quite regularly since Rene's been coach. Even before, to be fair, even under Jonas, we won cup finals under Jonas. We perform well in big games. This group of players can raise their game when the stakes are higher, but in the lesser games, we've seen it too many times. The level drops slightly and we get punished, and we have been punished. So, yeah, so many positives from the game, but it does leave a little bit of frustration in the back there, thinking if we could have performed like this more consistently from the start of the season, we would now be in a really strong position for winning the league, or certainly challenging a lot closer to Man City, which we still can after Saturday. We'll see, after Sunday, sorry. But yeah, a great performance, though. You can't take anything away from the team, the coaching staff, Rene. Everybody did their job to 100% focus for the whole game. And to come away from Stamford Bridge with a clean sheet, considering we had second choice goalkeeper, we didn't have our best defender, Leah Williamson, still out. It was one of them games where it could easily have got, like you said, we didn't have much strength on the bench in terms of attacking. All our attackers was in the starting lineup, so it was do or die, really, wasn't it? And to perform the way that we did and get that job done, what was fantastic. And I quite like that. You're saying about the players kind of knew what was expected of them, because we wasn't going to keep making the same changes every game like we do. And that has helped. And maybe that's a lesson for Rene there, isn't it? That, you don't always have to use all your squad. Use them at the right times when it's needed, but give the players a bit more, I don't know, that they can feel like they've at least got the like Stina, for example. She played the full game. She's played the full game quite a bit lately, actually. And that's, a player like Stina, who probably knows when she starts, 9 times out of 10, she's getting taken off after 60 minutes, regardless of how she plays. And to know that in that game, she probably wasn't going to get taken off after 60 minutes. She knew that she could grow into the game. And although she didn't score, I thought she played well. And everybody played well. And I do think that's important for players on the pitch to know that, they're going to be given a fair opportunity in that game, not just always get taken off at the same point, like seems to happen a lot. And I think that's a positive that Rene needs to learn from that. And I think that will benefit us going forward. Joe says, hi, chaps. I was at the bridge for about 5 minutes in. I felt confident I was able to enjoy it. Yeah, it just felt like we were going to win. 2 great goals and a proper team performance. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. We started the game so well, didn't we? And I say every time we've beaten Chelsea in recent years, that's what's happened. We've started well. And I agree with you. Quite early in that game, I felt fairly comfortable in the game. I wasn't worried so much. Usually you get at Chelsea and you're nervous because you think they're going to score all the time. And in that game, I agree with you. After it probably was 5-10 minutes in, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, we're actually playing well here. We're doing really well. And my only concern was we didn't score. We had a couple of chances, didn't we, when it was 0-0 in the first half, and you think, we've got to take them chances because the second half Chelsea will be better. But as it turned out, that didn't happen. We were even better in the second half. We got, like you said, 2 great goals, and that was a fully deserved victory. There's no doubt we deserved that win by quite some margin. Ryan says, started off Chelsea throwing a wobbly. Yeah, it seems like it, because they've been absolutely rubbish since, haven't they? And that's maybe something there. I mean, you mentioned it there about Chelsea's defence. Obviously, you know, that there wasn't great defensively against us. Against Manchester City, they are opened up time and time again. And that seems to be their issue. Not that we need to worry too much about Chelsea's problems, because, you know, it's quite funny when, you know, although I kind of wanted Chelsea to get a result against Man City, you can't really not enjoy Chelsea losing 5-1. It is quite amusing. It amused me anyway, even though it's maybe made our task a little bit more difficult. But, you know, we can only do our job, really. LG says, it's not a mentality issue. It's complacency. Like you said, we drop our levels in the lesser games and we get punished. Well, I think complacency is a mentality issue, isn't it? I think that is exactly what that is, because we go into those lesser games thinking we're going to win, and that's the wrong mentality. You've got to go into, you're playing Brighton, which we've got in a couple of weeks' time, or you're playing Leicester, or you're playing West Ham. You've got to go into that game in the same mentality state as you're playing Chelsea, or you're playing Barcelona, or you're playing Lyon, or you're playing Manchester City, or whatever it is. You've got to go into every game with that same mentality. And if you're not, if you are complacent, that is a mentality issue, and that is something that comes from the staff as well as the players, and it is something that we do need to improve, absolutely. And if we can get that right, if we can change that for next season, we're going to be, obviously we need a few more bodies in the squad, I'm sure, as well. But if we can change that, if it is complacency, it looks like it may be in some games, then that's going to fill that gap, isn't it? At the minute, we're just slightly off winning the league, we're not quite there, and that's probably those small little margins, isn't it, that make the difference. And that's maybe, you know, what that is. And maybe if we can put that right, like you said, we'll be in a very, very strong position. LG says, we also play a control first style of play. It works against big teams, but invites low blocks for lesser games, similar to the Men City. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, but maybe that's true. We kind of like to grow into a game a little bit, don't we? Suss out the situation, and rather than just going sort of straight out from the blocks. But at the end of the day, in the big games, it does work. But yeah, we need to find a way to get that right across the season, really, and not drop that level as much as we clearly have done, particularly this season. We've been very up and down. We've had some great performances and some really bad ones. And it's that level of consistency that wins your leagues. Winning the big games wins your cups. And that's great. And I'm you know, we've won a sort of a cup, we'll call it that in a minute. And we've still got a few competitions left that we can win this season. But we've become a cup team, haven't we, in the last 3 or 4 seasons now? We're a cup team. We're really good, difficult to beat in cup games, but over the season in the league, we're not consistent enough. And that is something we do need to improve if we are going to win the league. Regina's River says, hi, I was there when we became world champions. We'll talk about that in a minute, because Andreas was there as well. That was a lot of fun. LG says, Emily has now all of a sudden decided to cross a ball. It's amazing our competition. Yeah, it's funny that. I agree with you. You know, obviously now her place is under threat from Smir, who's done really well. Treewell says, yeah, we all love Vicky Palova, but how long does she get coming back from injury before emerging? No, there is an issue, but again, it is an injury, a big injury. Vijandra says, hopefully, did you see any player that we played that would enhance our team? Not really in that World Championship thing. We'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, so Chelsea was unbelievable, let's be honest. I don't think any of us were expecting that level of performance. Maybe some people expected we might win, but I didn't personally. But no one, I'm sure, expected us to go there and play like that, dominate Chelsea in that manner. And yeah, maybe it started their downfall, because obviously they never recovered sufficiently from that, did they, when they played Man City? So maybe we've killed off their season. That's nice, isn't it? Let's hope that's the case, but I'm sure they'll bounce back before too long. But as mentioned there, of course, and from the picture I've got there as well, Champions 2026, it says, of course, it's been quite a week, hasn't it? The very first ever FIFA Women's World Champions Cup, whatever it was called, and not a bad couple of games for us, really, was it? So we're European champions and we're now world champions. And I have to say, it was great, but the trophy was rather lame, wasn't it? A tiny little shield. Well, it's called the Champions Cup. So give us a cup that's like a proper cup, not a silly little, looks like a £1 coin. Come on. I mean, that was quite, I couldn't believe when I was given that trophy. I'm like, is that it? Is that what we've won? It's like, come on, we deserved a big trophy, didn't we, for that? Because, you know, yes, the first game, the Asfar game, it wasn't much to write home about, was it? They wasn't very good. We got the game won in 10, 15 minutes, goals flying in, a 6-0. The final, though, on Sunday was, I thought, a really interesting game, actually. It was nice to play against that style of team that we don't play often against. It's totally different to European style of football, wasn't it? And they set out their stall in the way that they did, which works for them. And I thought that it was a difficult game for us. I thought we played well. We maybe made it more difficult than it perhaps could have been. And obviously there was, if you haven't seen, by the way, if you haven't seen Andreas's vlog, you've got to look at his rant for the penalty, because that was quite funny. And I must admit, looking at it at the time, in real time, I'm thinking that's not a penalty, no way. But then you see 50 million replays of it like VAR do, and you can kind of think, well, yeah, I suppose she did go through the back of her. She didn't need to do that, Katie McCabe, and another rush of blood to the head maybe from her. And I could understand, having seen 50 replays of it, I can kind of understand how they came to that decision. But in real time, referees looking at it on the pitch, it didn't look a penalty at all, did it? Let's be honest, it didn't. And I kind of, it was harsh, and but it made it a bit more interesting, I guess, in the end, because it meant we had extra time and Caitlin got the winner, and it made it a bit more fun. But yeah, I thought overall it was an interesting game. I actually enjoyed it because it was something different. And, you know, we had to work hard to win it, didn't we? It wasn't the easy game we'd had on Wednesday night. It was a tough game against a decent team, I thought. They were good. And yeah, it was, I mean, obviously you was there, Andreas, and I know that the crowd wasn't as big as a lot of the WSL games and stuff like that, but it seemed like it was quite a fun atmosphere there. It seemed like they put on a good show for the competition, and, you know, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun. First of all, FIFA had no money to create a big cup, because they used all their money for this peace award for Donald Trump. And there was no money left for buying a cup.
Oh, that's not good, is it?
Yeah, but at least, yeah, 20,000 plus for the final, and the atmosphere was great because our opponents, Corinthians, brought a lot of Brazilian fans, and they were behind one goal and made samba music and dancing all throughout the game, and it was, yeah. It's rarely that we have an opponent at the Emirates who brings so many supporters and who make such a noise and create such an atmosphere. So this was really good. And the game itself, I think, once again, we started very well. The first 15 minutes or so, we were so dominant, and it looked as if it's only a question of time until we score. And when we were 1-0 up, I had the feeling maybe we will score another and we are on the right way to win this game. Corinthians didn't look as if they could regain dominance or could be dangerous. Yeah, there was one save in the first half from Anneke. That was brilliant. But how many balls did they have in our box? 1 or 2, and we dominated the game. We should have made more out of this. As in the Chelsea game in first half, we didn't score. It made the situation difficult. And here against the Corinthians, we were 1-0 up, dominating. Everything looked as if we will win this game. And then out of nothing, out of a corner, totally against the run of play, they scored. The goal line technology showed that the ball was behind the line, everything correct, but 1-1 at halftime was a joke. We were much better, and we should have been 3-0 up, and that was another problem. We are dominating, but we don't score enough goals. Second half, then fantastic header from Lotta. The last game, she was coming very close to scoring from a corner or with her header. She won a lot of aerial duels in the opponent's box. and this time fantastic. It was not even close to the goal. She was nearly at the edge of the box, and fantastic header. And then it looked as if we win this game. And for the penalty, yes, I was very furious and emotional after 90 minutes. But even after looking at all the replays, it wasn't a foul. Of course, she should stay away, but she played the ball. And if the Brazilian player would not act like she wants to win the Oscar, then nobody would have thought about giving a penalty. If she stands up and the game continues with a throw-in, nothing will happen. But she was lying there, and the question was, will she ever get up, or will she die on the pitch? And give her an Oscar, like for her brother in mind, Vinny Jr., it was the same. And after minutes, she was still lying there and crying and everything. Then they said, we are check. And when the referee decided to go to the monitor and rewatch it, it was quite clear it will be a penalty. Every time the referee goes out to rewatch something, its penalty is decided. Yeah. I always say you have to decide, would you give for this situation, if it happens in the midfield, 20 meters away from the box, would you give a free kick for this situation? No. You would say it's football, it's a contact sport, and she plays the ball, nothing happens, it was no foul, continue. The referee would, in midfield, the referee would have said, come on, continue playing. And in the 94th minute, at the edge of the box, when the Brazilian player was with her back to the goal, so no real goal threat, and our player plays the ball. Of course, yeah, she goes through her back, and an experienced player like Katie McCabe should stay away, as it was not a real goal threat in this situation. What could have happened? Another pass, and then maybe a dangerous situation, but not in this moment. Stay away, Katie. But awarding a penalty was, I still stay to my opinion, it was ridiculous to award a penalty there. And then going with 2-2 into extra time with this emotional situation, I thought, it could happen that the momentum changes to Corinthians now. But we kept control, we kept our minds clear, and we started to dominate in extra time again after 2-3 minutes, and fantastic goal. The pass was it from Mariana or from Beth, and then Caitlin Ford. I thought it was a bit too late, the pass, and then Caitlin passed it inside. Leslie was running and waiting for the ball. Play, and then she decided to. In this small space, she saw that the goalkeeper opens a little bit of space, and she decided to shoot. Brilliant. And after this, there was no question that we will win. I think we were closer to a fourth goal than Corinthians were to the equalizer. And considering this late penalty, and then we really deserved to win this game. But anyway, it was a very tough and close game, and if Caitlin doesn't score, we go into a penalty shootout, and we have already substituted Mariana and Kim, two good penalty takers. So I was really happy that Caitlin made it in extra time without a penalty shootout, and the feeling was great, and the celebration afterwards. You asked for the atmosphere, yes, with these fireworks, etc. This was just fantastic to be live at the stadium and to see this. I was filming when they went up the stage to get the trophy, yes, and then suddenly there was this firework, unexpected, and it was really great done, and this whole thing was better than the trophy itself. But
it was.
Anyway,
the trophy was lame. Let's be honest.
We are winners of the Champions Cup, and we can call ourselves Club World Cup champions. That counts more than how big the trophy is.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, yeah, that was the only disappointment for me was the trophy. It was awful, wasn't it? But anyway, it doesn't matter too much because, like you said, we're the first winners of this, and we did deserve to win it. There's no doubt. I mean, going back to the penalty, I mean, you mentioned had it been like outside the box, a free kick. The referee's initial decision at the time was no penalty. If it was outside the box, it would have been no free kick. VAR wouldn't have got involved because it's outside the box, but the VAR wouldn't have cared. So it probably wouldn't have been given as a free kick. You're right, but it wasn't given as a penalty. But then when you look at, if you slow down every single challenge and you look at it from different angles, you could find a foul in almost any tackle, pretty much. If you look at them from certain angles and stuff, if you want to find a foul, you can probably find one. I mean, I personally think that although Katie did get the ball, she's come through from the back of her and she did kick her leg on the follow through. I can understand why, having seen the replay, the referee gave it. Was it a penalty or not? I don't. It was the softest penalty ever, but there was contact, and like you said, Katie didn't need to do that. It was pointless. Don't let the referee have to make a decision there. You don't need to do that. You know, she didn't need to put that challenge in. It was pointless. So in a way, it was our own undoing, however harsh the decision was. And this is what annoys me about VAR, because VAR will do everything to try to make the decision what they consider to be absolutely 100% correct, rather than looking at the nature of the game and the intent of the tackle, and you know, the referee not giving it at the time and things like that. And that's what annoys me about VAR. But anyway, at the end of the day, ultimately it didn't matter in the end. We won the game, we won the trophy, we won the tournament, and you know, that's going to end up being not really talked about too much in the overall scheme of things. When people look back on the tournament as a whole, they're going to remember that Arsenal won the final, and not really that it was a bit of a soft penalty that we conceded right at the end to take it to extra time in the first place. But yeah, Ryan says there, the 1.7 million will come in handy unless we just save it in ISA. Yeah, well, maybe that's what we'll do. Joe says there, big shout out to Borba. She had a great run of games. No, exactly, yeah. And, you know, I mentioned, I think it was last show we did, you know, I wasn't convinced by her at the beginning. I've got to be honest, what she did in pre-season, that Spurs game, and she looked a bit shaky in the other games, but she's come in, and I think she's been brilliant, actually. She really has been brilliant, and I've been so impressed with her. I mean, you know, I love Daphne. She's a fantastic goalkeeper, and, you know, it's surprised me how well Anik Ball was done, because she's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She's made great saves at crucial times in pretty much every game she's played. And, you know, that's been important because she played in some big performances, some big wins that we've had. So, yeah, a good, you're right, a good shout out to her. Unless, you know, I know she obviously, and the game didn't end particularly well for her, did it? When, you know, she went off with a concussion injury at the end, didn't look nice at all. We believe she's okay. She probably won't be able to play at the weekend just because of concussion protocols and stuff like that, so she'll probably not be able to play this weekend, but I think she's okay overall. It was just not a very nice way for her to end what has been a brilliant run of games. And of course, now it gives Daphne the option to get back in the team again and show what she's all about, because we've got two very good goalkeepers now, which is great. But yeah, no, that's a good shout, that Joe, because she has been brilliant. Tribos says here, the winners' trophy was underwhelming and the medals were definitely on the small side. Yeah, that did seem a bit, I don't know, I thought that was a bit thrown together at the end, last minute, when they should have been better. But Daniel says here, I saw Gotham versus the Asfar game and they looked poor, both teams. Asfar shot themselves in the foot. Yeah, obviously we saw what Asfar were like against us. They're not very good. They're not that top level, are they? I think African football for women is still miles behind, as it used to be with men's football, didn't it? Back in the 60s and the 70s, that's where it was. You know, African teams in the World Cups used to lose 12-0 and stuff like that. And that's where African football is with women at the minute. And it's going to get better. I'm sure it'll get more investment and it will improve. At the minute, that's where it is. You know, they're not quite at that same level, are they? They're not even WSL level, are they? Let's be honest. They'd probably be a championship team and might even lose a few games there. You know, but that's where African women's football is at the moment. That's fine. It will improve, I'm sure. But yeah, Yeah, they are. It is what it is, really. LG says there, what is concerning is our quality up front. Players like Frida underhit and overhit passes and take poor touches and clumsy possession. Frida should go. She's very frustrating and hard to understand. Well, she got player of the tournament, so she must have been doing something right. I mean, she'd have a good game against As Far, I thought, and she did all right in the final. She hasn't had a great season by her standards. I'll agree with you there. Has she still got something to offer? As a squad player, I would say yes. Should she be a starter every week? Probably not. But, not many players should be starters every week. No one should be guaranteed a starting place every week. Well, maybe not many players, one or two perhaps. Obviously, Kim Little if she's fit at the minute. Leah Williamson if she's fit. Leslie Russo probably if she's fit. They had a three, you would say, either the three through the middle of the team, Mariona. Other than that, everybody else needs to be fighting for a place in your squad, and Frida's one of those players. And I think she's a good player to have. Comes off the bench, she can get goals. She does score. She's got a good goal scoring record for midfield, and I think she's a useful player to have. So let's not get rid of her. But she's had a poor season. I'll definitely agree with her on that side of it. But I thought she had an okay tournament. She played well, I thought, in the final. So let's not be too hasty with it. LG says, regardless of whether we think it was a penalty or not, Katie didn't have to make that challenge, and she decided to give the referee a decision. But yeah, very naive and experienced player. No, I agree. Yeah, exactly. To me, that's what it was. She didn't need to make it. It wasn't like it was a last-ditch tackle to try and stop a goal. It wasn't. It was an unnecessary. All she had to do was stay on her feet, just defend the situation. We win the game 2-1. Happy days, no problem. And she didn't need to do that. You're right. And yeah, Redendra says, I agree. That was not a penalty. Well, it was a penalty because it was given as a penalty. So it is a penalty if the referee decides after 10 minutes of looking at a screen. But yeah, Trebor says it was an impetuous challenge by McCabe. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Joe says it was a pass from Marnham. There you go. So Marnham got a goal in the first game, assist in the second in the final for the winner. She had an all right tournament, let's be honest. Playful Chicks is 100% not a penalty, but thankfully it didn't matter in the end because we won. Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, those decisions that go against that cost you big time is more frustrating, I suppose. You're right. Agnes said 100% a penalty, but no worries, we won. I mean, I suppose it's a bit of a mixed one. I can understand why it was given, having looked at replays of it, but in real time, it didn't look a penalty, and maybe VAR needs to be a bit more real because referees don't get 50 views of it. We as fans watching the game don't get 50 million views of it. Let's go. Does it look like I thought VAR was supposed to be for clear and obvious errors. That's what it was supposed to be for, and it's not. That's not what it's used for. It's never been used for that. And if it had been a clear and obvious error, when you look at the replays, it's not a clear and obvious error. You could argue that yes, maybe it was a foul. You could say perhaps it might have been, but it's not a clear and obvious error by the referee not to give it. So you just go with the referee's on-field decision because it wasn't clear and obvious enough a mistake to change it. That's what VAR should be. If VAR was used like that, I'd have no problem with it, but it isn't. VAR is re-reffing the game with the help of 50 million angles and slow motion replays. That's no good for football. That's not what it's for, but that's what they're using it for, and that's the frustration with it. But anyway, Roy says, I have so much respect for the 25,000 who turned up on a cold, wet and windy Emirates to watch history in the making. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was history in the making, absolutely. Of course it was. The first one. Roy says, I do not wear tinted glasses. It was clearly a penalty. I mean, I think it's one of them where if the ref gives it on the pitch, you have to hold your hands up and say, fair enough, it's a penalty. The fact the referee didn't give it on the pitch, there wasn't enough in it for VAR to me, there wasn't enough in it to VAR to overturn it. I know why they did, watched enough replays of it, but there wasn't enough to overturn it, I didn't think. And in real time, the referee didn't go with that. That should have been the decision. But anyway, I suppose it made it more exciting, maybe. So Ryan says, I think Balba, the new goalkeeper, is a decent signing. Not sure how much she'll play. Well, she's going to lose her place now because she can't play immediately in the next game. And obviously Daphne's going to come back in. And Daphne is the number one. But yeah, I think she'll still play more games. So don't worry. She's done well. She deserves to play more games. Royce, is there any news on how the goalkeeper is? Well, other than she seems fine, I think there's no serious injury. It's just a concussion thing, so she can't play this weekend. But I think she's fine. I don't think it's a serious injury. Regenda says Chelsea must have been knocked out as they've now lost 5. Well, exactly. We finished them off, didn't we? Let's be honest, we did. Ryan, so I think Bulber's okay. Depends how long she needs off for the concussion protocol. Yeah, she'll probably miss this weekend's game. I'm not sure if she'll better play midweek in the Champions League. Not sure. But to be honest with you, Daphne's our number one anyway. So, you know, she'll be back in the team. So we don't need to worry too much. I'm sure Anick will be back soon enough. LG says, if we are ruthless with Katie going, then the same should be with Mead. I prefer Katie over Mead because I wouldn't want to face Katie as an opposing team. I'm not scared of Beth. We say that, but I mean, I think Beth Mead's having a good season. I think she's having a really good season. And I don't think Katie McCabe is having a good season. She's had the odd good game. She played well against Chelsea, for example. But she does make stupid mistakes more and more so. And obviously that one against Corinthians could have cost us. So I would, if I had to get rid of one or the other, I would get rid of Katie and keep Beth. That would be my personal choice. You know, Katie's been a fantastic player for us, but I think she's past her best now. And I think we've got players who can play in her position. We've got options there now. So younger players as well. So that would be me, but I don't know. If we had to get rid of one of them two, Andreas, who would you get rid of out of Katie and Beth if we had to choose?
Yeah, I think I said it a few times in this show that Katie seems to be over her peak for me, and even if I still say it wasn't a penalty, then this action she took. It's another proof that she sometimes makes silly decisions. Remember the red card against Chelsea last season, where we said an experienced player must have herself under control. And all these small things, I'd say, yeah, she had very good 10 years, and she was such an important player over the 10 years. Last season, she was the one with the most minutes on the pitch. Brilliant time with us, but it's time to go separate ways now. That's my opinion. And Beth, she has a very good season. Maybe the competition with Chloe helped her to find the best possible Beth in her. She's not the Beth she was before her ACL injury. She's playing different now, but very important still for the team with her playing intelligence. And one word I would like to add for Anneke Borbe. We all heard she's released from hospital and she's at home. So I think the concussion protocol says 10 days. And then another examination is necessary. So probably she'll miss the City game and the first leg of the Champions League knockout. And then hopefully she'll be back. And what I want to add is with her, I'm confident we have a good goalkeeper when she was in goal. And she made some saves Manu Zinsberger would never have made. And probably we wouldn't have won games with Manu in goal the time Daphne was out, like we won with Anneke in goal. And this says a lot. Now we have a second goalkeeper who we can really rely on, who we can trust. And that's good. And it was frightening what happened. And I think everybody was afraid that something really serious could have happened when she was stretched out and they gave her oxygen, etc. So it looks as everything went as best as possible, and she'll be back in 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, she obviously won't be able to play this next couple of games, but yeah, she's been brilliant actually, and you know you're right. Manu Zinsberger we wouldn't have got some of the results that we've had in recent weeks if Manu Zinsberger was in goal. There's no doubt about that. And you know, Anick Ball was coming in, you know, in difficult circumstances as well. She's coming in brilliant. So yeah, fair play to her, and proved to be a very, very clever signing to get her in, you know, last summer. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, obviously looks like she's going to be fine and she'll be back playing soon, I'm sure. But she's going to have to fight to get that place back in the team now, isn't she? Because I'm sure Daphne's been itching to get back in. I mean, she came on briefly, didn't she, on Sunday for the last few seconds, but that game. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. Actually, now we've got two real top class goalkeepers. So yeah, it's a good position to be in, isn't it? Because you know we haven't been in that position before. So we'll see what happens there. We've got Joe says there now Mido has played really well and has contributed a great deal. Keeper, yeah, I agree, absolutely. I would say that is definitely true. LG says it also players like Beth block the pathways for younger prospects like Freya Godfrey, who's now shining for London City. You could say that, but it's a tough one, isn't it? Because London City Lionesses aren't in the same position that we're in. They're not challenging at the top end of the league. They're not challenging in the Champions League. They're not expected to win trophies like we are. It's a different sort of pressure. Would you throw a young player in like her in the situation that we're in? It's easier when you're playing for a more of a mid-table team to be able to play regular and express yourself. I don't think necessarily Beth being there has stopped the progression of younger players. I just think where we are as a club, what we're playing for is the reason why a lot of these young players haven't been quite ready to push on and into the first team yet. But it's a balance, I suppose, isn't it? Ryan says there, we need some younger players in and some older ones past their peak will be better off with another change. No, absolutely. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Regenda says they're making too many changes will put our level down unless players can easily fit in. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it necessarily puts your level down. If you bring in better quality players than you're getting rid of, that should bring your level up, shouldn't it? Especially if they're a bit younger, a bit hungrier, maybe a better level player, like bringing a player like Olivia Smith in, for example, is a good example, isn't it? You know, if we can bring in players like that, then it's not going to drop us down a level, is it? It's going to improve us. If we get 4 or 5 players like that coming in, that sort of age, then I think that's good that's good to build around, isn't it, going forward? So I don't think it would necessarily. The only way it drops your level down is if we get rid of all these great experienced players and we bring in players that aren't as good, that are younger but are not as good. That would be dropping our level down, but we wouldn't do that, would we? We're going to bring in players that can improve what we've got already. We've got a comment there. Jog says there, Katie McCabe would still be a great signing for another team. Arsenal obviously looking to rebuilding sometime. Yeah, exactly. And I think she can do it. Like, you know, say, for example, if Katie McCabe was to go to London City Lionesses, she'd probably do a decent job there. But we've outgrown her, I think. And she keeps making it's almost like she's trying to play up to this reputation that she's got for being a little bit tough and all this, that, and the other. And sometimes she plays up to that too much. And she makes stupid decisions, does stupid things, and it's cost us time and time and time over the years. I mean, a lot of the time you can forgive her because of the performances that she'd put in consistently, but now it's got to the point where I think we've got better players who can play in her position than her now, and she should either be a squad player and moved on at the end of the season. That's where I think she is, unfortunately. You know, thank you, Katie, for all you've done. And we've loved watching you play. And some of the goals you've scored have been amazing and it's been great. But everything comes to an end, doesn't it? And I think we are getting to that point now. And for me, she would be one of the ones to go. And we've already replaced her, really, haven't we? When you look at, you know, we've got Taylor Hines, who's come in, and I know I think she's injured at the minute, isn't she? But when she's fit, she's going to be a good player in that position. So, yeah. We've got a comment there from Santa says there, big up panel and chat. First time on the channel. Please welcome me. Love from South Africa. No, it's good to have you with us. South Africa. Fantastic. Whereabouts in South Africa are you? Always nice to get people from all over the world. We normally get, we've got some people from Sweden. We've had people from Canada, loads of places. It's always nice, isn't it? So obviously it was a good tournament for us. Obviously winning a trophy, we played well. We're in a good spot at the minute. You know, we've seemed to have got some more level of consistent performances now. You know, the Chelsea game was really good. Okay, as far you can't really judge us because they were poor, but we did the job we had to do, scored a lot of goals. And then, as you rightly said, Andreas, we dominated most of the game against Corinthians. It was a different challenge, and we overcome a few different things in the game and found a way to win and lifted the little trophy, which was nice, wasn't it? Trubal says, I watched the Man City-Chelsea game. Man City are dangerously good. Going to have to... hang on, where's that gone? Sorry, where's that gone? I'll get it back in. Going to have to get tactics spot. Yeah, we are, but it's a one-off game. We may well do that. So yeah, actually, let's talk about that because obviously it's a big game coming out of the weekend. It's our last. We've said this a few times. It seems to be, but it seems like our last chance to stay in the title race. We have to win, obviously, to do that. But City are absolutely flying. I mean, in many ways, to me, it's a title decider from our perspective, because if we don't win, it's over. You know, it's gone. We might as well just give the trophy to Man City after the game. But if we do win, we've still got work to do, and it's not necessarily means we can win the league, but at least it's going to keep it alive a little bit longer, isn't it? If we can win this game on Sunday, it keeps it going. Obviously, Chelsea will be praying that we can beat them, I'm sure, as well, to keep them in it as well. But now we, regardless of the title, though, now obviously Chelsea are slipping up. We've got the chance to get above Chelsea, get second place again at least, and then that's obviously not quite enough, but from where we were earlier in the season when we were down in 5th and 6th place, being second place is a good place to be. But let's treat this game as we treated the Chelsea game, as we treated other one-off games. Let's play like we know we can. We're at the Emirates, which, we've got a great record there. The pitch is looking a bit iffy, actually, at the minute, which isn't great. But, we're used to playing there. It's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be a good atmosphere. And there's a lot of things in our favour. We're coming into this in a good run of form. Yes, so are they, obviously. They've won, 11, 12 league games, whatever it is. And they just beat Chelsea 5-1, which not many teams do. So, but I'm feeling pretty upbeat about this one because we're in a good place at the minute. And it's a good time to be playing them, I think. We got coming into it on the back of winning that trophy. I think that's a big lift for everybody as well. And I'm actually feeling pretty confident. However well City are playing, I still think we've got a good chance. I mean, obviously it's a big game Sunday, Andreas. Looking forward to it, I know. But are we going to be able to produce another Chelsea-like performance and get the 3 points, which would be so important, won't it?
Yeah, that's the question. Are we able to get such a performance again? And is City able to bring such a performance as they did against Chelsea? For me, we are not in the title race, no matter if we win or not. We are 13 points behind City. Even if we win, it's 10 points. And I see us in the race.
We've got a game in hand. So that could be 7 points.
Yeah, a game in hand, end of April. And you still, and the pressure for us will be to win all these games in late April, May. I don't see us in the title race. I see us in a race for the second place. And this would be important because this is the direct qualification for next Champions League stage. And this is possible. But if we lose on Sunday against City, then we are 5 points behind, probably 5 points behind Man United and 4 behind Chelsea. Yes, with the game in hand, but you have to win this game in hand. And you don't know what happens until end of April. Do we have all our players ready? In which form will we be end of April? So I would have preferred to play the Leicester game early March. There would have been a possibility on, I think, was it before the London City game? There would be space or something like that. Then you could hopefully collect the 3 points and be in the race again. But if you still have to say, we are so many points behind, but we still could win another 3 against Leicester. And for Sunday, look at Man City. They have played 14 games in this season and won 13. They only lost their first game of the season against Chelsea. But since then, every game won. And of course, they didn't have to play in Europe. They had the easier games in the Subway League Cup, then FA Cup. Of course, this benefited them. But look at their run of form at the moment. And when I see their attacking line with Lauren Hemp, with Bunny Shaw, Carolyn, who's got a hat-trick against Chelsea, with Miedema, Grace Clinton. I'm not sure we can control all these players. And our defense, well, I said it in my matchday vlog, our opponents only need one chance, one ball in the box, and they score because we make stupid mistakes or we are not fast enough. And can we prevent Bunny Shaw from scoring? Oh, that's really a challenge. And if we do, can we prevent Carolyn from scoring? And with Miedema and Lauren Hemp, I don't know. And we have to be spot on from the first whistle and try to have a very good start in the game and dominate the game, and and prevent them from breathing, from getting into the game. Of course, it will help. It's a home game, and I think we'll have 40,000 plus at least for this game, and with the confidence of being crowned as world champions, everything, and being at home. Yes, there is a chance for us, but right now, if I compare the both squads, I'd say City has the better team this season. They perform better, and for me, they are the favorites on Sunday. We have to be at our absolutely top, or as Renee would say, it really, really, really matters on Sunday. And let's hope we can perform then.
Yeah, we have to. Quite like you said, if we lose, then it's over, isn't it? The league's over, and we're going to even struggle to get that second or third place. We could do so. Yeah, it is a big game, obviously, and we know that, and it's going to be tough. And you're right; they've got some very good players, Man City. There's no question about it. They've got a really good team. They're top of the league. They're quite well clear for a reason, but I don't think they're not unbeatable. I do think we can beat them. We're at home. We're playing well. We've got the players to hurt them. LG says, I think Man City have a physical advantage over us. They are a big threat in set pieces, which we struggle to defend. Yeah, that's true as well. I agree with that. They will have an advantage over that. But, we've got other threats at our end, at the other end as well, that we can cause them problems for. So, I think it's going to be a good game anyway. There's no doubt about that. But we shall see. Rajendra says, yes, we'll win versus City, and then anything can happen. Good to see. I like that attitude. That's what we want to see. Jog says, sad to read some Arsenal supporters wanting the women to play less games at the Emirates, saying it's ruining the pitch. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw the pitch the other night for the men's game against Chelsea, and it was nowhere near the carpet that it's been known for so many years, and obviously playing the number of games that it's had, obviously the extra games that the women are playing, but that's not the women's team's fault. Why should they be punished for that? What they need to do is maybe invest more in improving the pitch so it can cope with more games. That's the answer, isn't it? Let's be honest. The answer isn't to stop the women playing there. The answer is to improve the pitch so it can cope with extra games. And obviously the weather this winter hasn't helped, has it? It hasn't stopped raining, it seems, for about 3 months. So that obviously hasn't helped either. And it's unfortunate that maybe this season we're suddenly playing more games at the Emirates. The weather's been as bad as as wet as it's ever been through the winter. And those two things combined at the same time have maybe created that issue. We've got great ground staff. They've done a great job on that pitch for so many years. And maybe this is just a temporary blip due to the weather more than anything. So let's see what happens. But yeah, it's ridiculous to say let's just stop the women playing. Why don't we stop the men play? Why don't the men play a few games away from the Emirates if you're going to be like that? You know what I mean? It's equal stadium now. We play our games at the Emirates, the men play their games at the Emirates, and that's fine. So they need to work out a way to get the pitch to be better. Don't take one of the teams away. That's not the answer, is it? And you're right. That is a ridiculous thing. But obviously, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that only care about the men's team. And if they feel the pitch is going to hamper the men's chances, then they want to do what they can to try to stop that happening. And if it means kicking the women out, that's what they'll do, which isn't the right answer. Absolutely not. But there you go. Andreas says, Manchester City, the best team this year. Well, the best team at the moment because they're top of the league, but the season hasn't finished yet. So the best team finishes top at the end, but we're not at the end of the season yet, are we? So they're the best team now at the moment, but they might not be on Sunday. We'll see. Rajendra says, I would have liked if we could have got a few players in, like those speedsters from Brazil. So we missed this January. Yeah, we know all we got in the window was a goalkeeper on loan, which I'm not saying that the club didn't try and get another midfield player, certainly, and I'm sure we tried, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting anyone to come in, and so I'm not shocked that we haven't done any business really, but it's going to be a big summer, I think, anyway. Joe says a big crowd, treat it as a Champions League final, and fingers crossed 3-2. Oh, 3-2, that's a bold prediction. I like that. But Daniel says, yes, the rain has been heavy. It has, yeah, and obviously that doesn't help when you've got a grass pitch and lots of games. you know, it's the way it goes, isn't it? Joe says, we've only played 3 home games since January. We chose to take the FIFA shilling and play 2 games in one day. Yeah, I agree. That was a problem. That's the problem right now, is that, you know, look at the weather on Sunday, you know, absolutely hammered it down with rain, and we played 2 games on that day on that pitch. Yeah, it's you're right. They took the money without really thinking too much about the impacts. And you're right. It's not the women's team's fault, and the women's team shouldn't suffer because of it. So that's the main point, isn't it? Yeah, the club are happy to take the money, so use that money to improve the pitch. Job done. Or maybe, I don't know what you can do, actually. I mean, I'm not a gardener, so I don't know how you can improve the pitch, but there must be things you can do to make sure it can withstand the weather that we've been having. LG says, I heard Man City want to strengthen their already stacked squad and defence because they want a challenge for the Champions League next season. Well, I'm sure they want a challenge for it, but will they be able to? We'll have to see. Ryan says, the men should play a game at Meadow Park. Probably spend more time on the floor. Yeah, that would be quite funny, actually, wouldn't it? As it Srival says, Andreas forgot about Mary Fowler. She'll probably score now. Well, she's a good player. She scored against us a few times, hasn't she? LG says, if your midfield bench options are Leuven, Clinton and Coffey, it says everything. Those players would probably walk into our start 11. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, that's... We need to improve our squad. There's no doubt about that. But we haven't done it in January, so we're going to have to do it in the summer, aren't we? But I'm actually I must admit, despite now thinking about all those great players that Man City have got and the fact that they absolutely ripped Chelsea to pieces last week, I'm still feeling quite confident about this game. I still think we can win, and I think we will win. Andreas, what's your prediction for Man City? Because it's obviously going to be tough.
Yeah, of course, I hope we win, but no, I don't think it will happen. So my hopes are for a 2-2, for a draw, but to be realistic, I think City will win this game. And last week or 2 weeks ago, I said Chelsea will win, and I was wrong. So let's hope this will happen again. But I see City win this game 3-1. I'm sorry, their attacking threat is so... it's so dangerous what they have in the attacking line, and we know Bunny Shaw scores in every game, and I can't see us preventing all their attackers to score. And so, yeah, our defense was often the problem. So, yeah, I'm fearing that they will score 2-3 goals, and maybe they will score first and be up 1-0, 2-0, and then we won't come back. But anyway, I hope, as I said, I hope for a good result, but I think the best that we can get out is a draw. But my prediction is 3-1 for City, and I really hope I'm wrong again.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a surprise. Obviously, City are top of the league; they're flying at the minute, and they can certainly go to the Emirates and win. There's no question. But I don't know. I just feel that things are going in our favour at the minute, and you know, I think we could. And I think we can get the result. I think we can, but obviously it's going to be a really, really tough game, and they've got a better strength and depth than us. There's no doubt. They'll have a stronger bench than us at the minute as well. So we just have to take our chances. We'll have chances. I'm sure we have to take our chances. And again, a bit like the Chelsea game, I think the first goal will be crucial. I think if we can get ourselves 1-0 up, then I think we've got a great chance to go on and win. If we do go 1-0 down, as we've said before, it's going to be tough. But what you're forgetting, though, is this Rene's got these tactical masterclasses for these big games when we have to win. And I think I'm confident she's going to do it again, and we'll come out on top. Like you said before, whether it's enough to get us back in the title race to win the league, I don't know. It might not be, because it's still going to be a big gap to make up. But it's a one-off game that we have to win, and I think we will win. I've just got this feeling we will. I think we'll have that slight advantage. I think Rene can do it in this one game again, and yeah, I think we'll win. I think it'll be obviously be a close game. It'll be tight. There won't be much in it. There's going to be goals in it. I think. I mean, someone said 3-2, didn't they? I think Joe said 3-2. I'm kind of thinking 3-2 myself. I think there will be goals in this game. They're a threat. We've got a threat. We're at the Emirates. We've only lost one game at the Emirates under Rene ever, so that's in our favour as well. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 to Arsenal, and I think it's going to be a good game, and we'll come out on top, and that'll be good. But let's see. Doug says actually the men have played more at the Emirates than the women. It's just hating on women's football again. Well, I mean, to be fair, the men have played more at the Emirates, but then it is the men. Well, it's not anymore, but traditionally it was the men's stadium, I suppose. So of course they're going to play every single game there. We're only playing the WSL games and the knockout Champions League games. But I mean, we've played more on it this season than we've ever done before. So we'll see. Regenda says, I'm at the game and I want Arsenal to win 2. Well, we all want Arsenal to win 2-0 or 3-0 or 4-0. It's just, are we capable of doing it? I mean, you know, I think we can win. Absolutely, I agree with you. But let's see what happens. Joe says there, Renee has started building her squad, Smith, Hines, Holmberg. If she gets the club back in, I believe she'll build a great squad. I'm excited for next season. No, I agree. You know, the signings that she's made have been good, haven't they? They have been. There's not enough of them yet, but it is early days still, and you know, the club can only get in who they can get in. But that's not 3 bad signings. And the goalkeeper as well. If you look at the goalkeeper as well, that's coming, Borba, that's 4 good signings, isn't it? That we've made. So you know, that's a good start. I agree. And if this is the type of player, a bit younger, hungrier players. I mean, I was amazed the other day actually when I saw it that Smella Holmberg is actually the same age as Katie Reid. And yet she looks a much more finished player, doesn't she? I mean, Katie Reid's been great, but Holmberg looks the real deal already. She's only 19. Incredible. She's going to be a hell of a player, isn't she? Let's be honest. She's going to be one of the best in the world. So we're good that we've got her. We know how good Olivia Smith can be and will be. And obviously Taylor Hines gets over her injuries, and she's another great player as well. So, yeah, it's been a good... They're good signings, them, aren't they? They're really good signings. So, yeah, no, you're right. And if Renee has just picked those players herself, if they're her players, then you've got to say, well done, Renee, because they're 3 great players in positions that we needed. We just need more, obviously. LG's gone for 2-2. Yeah, again, I agree. I think there'll be goals in the game, absolutely. And, yeah, it was 2-2 last season, wasn't it? At the Emirates, so maybe it'll be 2-2 again. Let's see what happens. Oh, Jog's not very confident. Arsenal 0, Man City 4. Wow, that's not a good prediction, is it? But I mean, I can see where you're coming from, looking at the league table and what City did to Chelsea. But I think we're playing better than that. I think we're doing well. Regenda says some of my colleagues from school who have daughters that go there also. Oh, good stuff. That's going to be good, isn't it? It should be a good game. Andreas says, really hope we win. Yeah, again, really hope we win indeed. Regenda says they're all over the ground, so we don't sit next to each other. Oh, that's a shame. We could all sit together, wouldn't it? You could have a right laugh. Andreas says, plan Smiller and Stina, and they will fix it for us. Well, I'm not sure if they'll both start the game. I mean, Smiller deserves to start, I think, more because she's been brilliant. LG says, if Man City are in the Champions League this season, I think they could win it. That's how good they are. Yeah, but it's a different type of tournament, isn't it? You know, we won it last year, and there's no way you'd have looked at our performances in the WSL and thought we had a chance of winning it. It's a different kind of competition, but I'm sure they'll do well if they're in it next year, which they probably will be. Joe says there, the club should stop this negative narrative, 35, 40,000 spending money when the men are away. That's a good deal. Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. LG says Holmberg is so mature for 19. Yes, she is. I kind of knew she was young because when we bought her, but watching the way she plays, she doesn't play like a 19-year-old, does she? She plays like an experienced player. And that's such a good sign for someone that young. So, yeah, what a signing. She's been fantastic. Looking forward to seeing how she develops and grows in this team because so far she's been brilliant. And it was good to see her, wasn't it? I can't remember what game it was now. Was it the Chelsea game when she came on and played ahead of Emily Fox? And that's, I think I can see that being the way that they play in the long term. I think so because she's brilliant. Puts in great crosses. Joe says City don't have the distraction of Champions League, which is definitely helping them. Yeah, I think this season it is absolutely. Yeah, they've just got the one game a week pretty much to worry about, haven't they? So yeah, it probably has helped them, and they'll find it more difficult next season with the Champions League as well. Yeah, of course they will. But they've got a better squad maybe. But we'll have a better squad next season, won't we, to challenge? So yeah, it's another tough game, but we've overcome bigger challenges than Man City at the Emirates, so I'm confident we'll do it. But let's see, it's going to be a great game anyway, regardless, and we're going to enjoy it. If you're obviously, Andreas will be at the Emirates on Sunday. If you're there, and if you see Andreas, say hello, of course, and enjoy the game, because it's great. These are the type of games that you look forward to, aren't they? Two great teams. I'm sure Man City aren't going to come to the Emirates and shut up shop and look for a draw. They're going to try and win the game. We're going to have to try and win the game. It should be a really exciting match with some fantastic players. I mean, some of the best players in the world will be on that pitch on Sunday. So it's a really good game. It's going to be a great advert for women's football, isn't it? Let's be honest. Two great teams going together, and hopefully we can come out on top, because we need to, and I think we will. Joe says there, see you at the Emirates. Indeed, that's going to be good. General says, Andreas, any German players who are upcoming for us? We're going to be signing any more German players? Also, we've got the goalkeeper. Anybody else coming, do you think?
We will hopefully sign Georgia Stanway from a German team. Yeah. I read that we wanted her in winter, and we offered money to Bayern Munich, but my Bayern sources say Bayern rejected it and said absolutely no discussion at this point. We won't let Georgia leave in winter. Of course, the one player I would like to have at Arsenal is Clara Bull from Bayern. She's a game changer for Bayern every game for the national team, and this would add exactly what we need: a pacey young winger who also scores a lot of goals, or gives assists, and she's never giving up, always trying to go in these 1-versus-1 duels, etc. This would be the one player I'd love to have at Arsenal, but I'm not sure that that Bayern would be willing to let her go, and she extended her contract last year, so it would be expensive. But well, we earned 1.7 million from the Champions Cup, so let's throw a bit of this on Bayern and on Clara Bull. This would be very good to get her.
It would be, yeah. She's a great player, there's no doubt about that, and that would be a good sign. Obviously, Georgia Stanway, I think we're all kind of pinning our hopes on getting her in the summer, and she would be a great addition. I think she's a player that I think is a player that we desperately need, a player like her in that position in the team. So I think that she would be a fantastic signing if we can get it done in the summer. It would have been nice to have got an hour, I agree, but you don't normally get a signing like that in January, do you, from Europe? You might from America, because it's their end of their season. In Europe, you're unlikely to get a player like that moving in the winter window generally. So I'm not surprised that it didn't happen now. But hopefully that's one for the summer. We'll look forward to that. 170 Galler says there, why are we looking to sell McCabe when we still got players like Hines that make zero? Well, that's the reason, isn't it? Because we've got Hines now. We've got a player who can play that position and play it really well. So that's why we would sell McCabe, because we've got a replacement now. We didn't have one before, really, did we? Agneta says, Clara Ball magic indeed. She would be magic, wouldn't she? LG says, Man City are interested in Clara. Well, everyone would be interested in her because she's a great player. But she'd much rather come to Arsenal, wouldn't she? Let's be honest. No one wants to go to Man City, do they? Joe says, Reuter has been mentioned. Thoughts? Oh, yeah, Reuter. What do we think about Reuter? Is that likely?
Don't know. Her contract ends in summer. Frankfurt didn't want to let her go, but she's an offensive midfielder, and I don't think that she would be the solution of our problems. Yes, she had a good Euros. She's a good player in the Bundesliga for Frankfurt, but is good enough for us? I don't know. For me, she would be another squad player on the level of Frida or maybe Vicky Pelova, but I don't rate her that much that I say she's an upgrade for us. It's just my opinion.
I mean that seems fair enough. You're right in the sense that maybe she's not a player that would strengthen where we need to strengthen, but getting a good player in, you can't have too many good players in your squad, can you, for rotation purposes and stuff like that. So if it's possible, get as many good players as we can. I wouldn't say it'd be a priority signing. Vijendra says, without Mead, how can I shout Meado? Well, obviously none of us will be able to shout Meado. We'll have to try and find another player that we can use that for. I don't know, who else could we use that for? Anyway, we'll have to think of, if we have to, we will. Well, yeah. LG says, right, there'll be a good depth option, but not elite world class to be a guaranteed start. Well, yeah, exactly. But, you know, you need to have good players on your bench, don't you? Joe says, Hines is fast, forward-footed and calm under pressure. No, I like Taylor Hines. I think she's good. And yes, she's injured at the minute, but I'm sure she's going to be a good signing long term. Treebar says, Mariona's form is returning, but still playing out of her best position. Yeah, she's played better, isn't she, recently? Absolutely, she has. And we'll need her to play well tomorrow if we're going to win that game, of course, because she's, you know, on her day, she's unplayable. Regenda says, we need an extended squad and players will have a bigger crowd. So, no, absolutely, we need a bigger squad. Yeah, there's no doubt. And I'm sure we will have. Matthew says, Hines isn't as good on the ball as McCabe, but certainly quicker. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think she's bad on the ball. I don't have any issue with Taylor Hines at all. I think she's well, it says Redo. That's a good one. Yeah, Redo. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, we'll have that one. Okay. Yeah, that'll do for now. Agneta says the game's it's on Sunday. The game's on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday lunchtime. So lunchtime here. I don't know what time it'll be in Sweden. Probably an hour.
12. At 12.
Is it 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock here. It won't be 12 o'clock in Sweden, will it?
Oh no.
I'm not sure. Anyway, it's 12 o'clock here, so it'll probably be 11 o'clock in Sweden, won't it? LG says, I've mentioned before, our biggest problem is defensive mid. We need a protection in midfield because we are vulnerable in transition. That's why we like to control games to compensate for that. Well, yeah, absolutely. Agneta says 13. Oh, is that the time? Oh, will it be 1 o'clock in Sweden? Oh, okay. You're an hour ahead of us, are you? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that's what it is anyway. So it's on Sunday. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that one anyway. It's going to be good. Can we win? And, of course, after that, there's more games. We are back in Champions League action, the playoffs. Obviously, we're going to start massive favourites. And some team that I seem to remember quite well. So, of course, Leuven, who we played not that long ago in the group stage of the Champions League, and now we're back to play them again in the playoffs. Over 2 legs, this one, of course, you've got to say we're massive favourites to win. It would be a massive shock if we didn't go through. I think, was it 3-0 we won the away leg? Something like that, wasn't it, in the group stage? So I'd be very, very surprised if we don't win this game and get the job done in the first leg and then, you know, move on to the quarterfinals. But, you know, can never take it for granted. I guess they've qualified the same as we have to the playoff stage, but I think it'd be a massive shock, wouldn't it, if we don't go there on Wednesday? Are you going to that one again? Because you went last time, didn't you? You going again?
Yeah, I will be there. It's a quick turnaround for me too. I'm flying back home from London on Monday, and on Tuesday I take the train to Belgium, as the game is at the early hour on Wednesday, and last time my train was delayed more than 3 hours, so I didn't want to risk anything. Therefore, I'm traveling the day before the game, and yes, I'll be there. I don't think we'll win again so comfortably 3-0 because we know this time it's a 2 legs. It's a game over 2 legs, and I think we will win, but maybe it will be 1-0 or 2-0 hopefully, but it won't be that easy. Leuven now knows how we are playing, and what I said before in December when we played there, they only lost to Barcelona. All their other games, they either got a draw or won their games. So it's not coming out of nowhere that they qualified for the knockouts. They can't be such a bad team. Of course, we dominated them, and we know how we can play them. And I'm confident that we will win there. And let's say my prediction is 2-0 to the Arsenal this time. But it won't be so easy as it was in December. But we will have a big support and a big supporters group there again. We got 400 more tickets than we got for the league game. So it will be more than 2,000 Arsenal supporters there. And let's hope it's another good night in Belgium for all of us. And I'll be there in Leuven, and then the week after, when we go for the second leg to Meadow Park, of course I'll be there again. So a lot of traveling right now for me, but yeah, our team is worth it. Yeah, even if we lose, then you look forward to the next game and you say, I want to support the team, I want to be there, and that's the fascination of football and being an Arsenal supporter. Yeah, I want to be there.
And you know, it's a lot. It's obviously a lot of big games coming up, one after the other at the minute, it seems, and which is exciting, isn't it? That's what everybody wants to see. You know, we want to see these big games, important games. You know, Champions League, the big games at the top of the league, WSL, and you know, we've just had the World Club Championships and all this stuff. You know, it's been great. Chelsea, of course, a week before, so it's been an exciting time of the season actually. And up till now, it's gone pretty well this particular section of the season. So let's hope we can continue another big week. But yeah, I would be very surprised if we don't win at Leuven. Yeah, you're right. Having the game won't be the same as it was in the league game at the end of the group stage. That game, there wasn't as much riding on it. Leuven had already qualified. We'd already qualified. It was that sort of end of group game, really, wasn't it? So it's going to be different now with a 2-leg knockout. Their approach will be different to the game. Our approach will be different to the game. I'm not expecting it to be a similar game, but I do think we'll get a similar result. I do think we'll win. I think we're far too strong for them. It won't be easy. No games are easy when it gets to this point in the Champions League, but I think we'll. I mean, 2-0 does seem a pretty decent score. Actually, does seem a pretty decent score. I kind of like that. I think we might concede a goal, maybe 2-1, 3-1, something like that. I think we have enough to win anyway, and then it should make the second leg a little bit more comfortable. We certainly don't want to have to, like we did last season, have to come from behind in the second legs all the time. Let's hope that we can get ourselves a lead, and then that way we can enjoy the second leg a little bit more easily, can't we? So, we've got a few comments that have come in here. Where are we? Let's have a look. Where are we? Lethal Chicken says we have the best defensive record in the league with only 10 goals conceded. So I hardly think defense is a problem. We need more goals. I mean, I would say it's a problem in the sense that the goals that we concede generally are sloppy goals, aren't they? Yes, we've got a decent defensive record overall, although that's been at the start of the season, we conceded most of those goals in the early weeks, didn't we? And we've got better defensively as the season's gone on. But a lot of the goals we concede are, you know, quite poor goals. They're from set pieces, or they're just poor defensive decisions, you know. So I think we need to improve, not necessarily improve our defensive record overall, but I think we need to improve our defending in certain situations in a game so that we don't, because, you know, if you only concede one goal, but it's the first goal in the game, that's the difficult goal, isn't it, to come back from. So it's cutting out those defensive mistakes that's cost us too many times. That's what we need to do. Our overall record is all right. LG says Liv Smith signed for Sporting in 2023, and the men's team won the league. Signed for Liverpool in 2024, and the men's team won the league. She's now signed for Arsenal. I didn't realise actually. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Anyway, let's see what happens there. Then that's pretty good actually. Agneta says Andreas is a real globetrotter. He is a globetrotter, absolutely. He's all over the place. So I have a feeling Renee is plotting a scheme to win the Champions League again. She will see that the biggest. She will see it as the biggest challenge, and we know she's up to master tactician levels. What a coup that would be for her. Well, winning back-to-back Champions Leagues in her first 2 seasons as manager would be quite something special, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not sure if we're quite ready for that, but who knows? I didn't think we'd win it last season, and we did. So I've given up even thinking about it. If it happens, it happens, and we'll be there and enjoy it. But let's just enjoy the ride to get there. If we do, again, let's see what happens. We've got to obviously get past Leuven first. Trewell says there, McKay's problem is that wingers are getting faster and she's getting slower. Well, yeah, obviously that's a problem, yeah. Ryan says clever stat about Olivia Smith. It is, isn't it? I didn't realise that. Oh, that's pretty fun, isn't it? Matthew says defending a corner is also a big issue. Every time the opponents have one, I think we'll concede. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not necessarily the number of goals overall we concede. It's moments in defence that we're not good enough, and that's what we need to improve, because sometimes one goal's enough. LG says our attack is control first. That's why we don't concede many chances, but also it limits our chance creation. Yeah, Rene needs to find that balance in the summer between control and chaos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, last season we kind of had it, didn't we? And this season it's been a bit more structured. Joe says we're definitely developing momentum after Christmas. Maybe they all needed a rest. It's been a brutal 2025. Well, it has, but so far the start of 2026 has been pretty brutal as well, hasn't it? With the number of games, big games that we've had one after the other. But yeah, we do seem to be getting a bit of momentum now. You're right. We've played some big games. We've won some big games, and that builds confidence as well, doesn't it? And we certainly couldn't be going into this big week any more confident than we are with the results that we've had, and the performances that we've produced. So yeah, let's be confident that we can have a good week. We can get to really good positive results and go forward from there and see where we are. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic now. You know, the problem that I had earlier in the season was we'd have one decent performance and then we'd have two or three pretty average performances, and we might scrape a result here and there without playing well. Now we've put together three really good performances in a row. Okay, the AS VAR game, the opposition wasn't great, but we still went out there and did a good job, and we played well. We played well against Chelsea, obviously. We played well in the final. So we're finally getting that momentum going, a run of good performances. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what we're now getting. And another good performance on Sunday, who knows where that might take us. And then, you know, we'll be going into the real crucial part of the season. The FA Cup's coming around again soon. You know, hopefully the quarterfinals of the Champions League will be coming up soon, and you know it's all starting to look rather exciting, isn't it? As we move into towards the spring, and when the games get really interesting, don't they? You know, when we get to that point in the season, and you know we've won one trophy already. We're still battling away. You could say we're battling away for three more. I still think we are still battling away for three more. Certainly two more cups that we're in, and I still think Sunday, if we can win, I still think we're in there. We're still in there with a chance. But let's get that done first on Sunday and see where we are. But yeah, it's been much better, hasn't it? The last couple of weeks really has been much better. We're starting to show this level of performance that we need, and yeah, we just need to keep this going now, don't we? And who knows where this season might take us? You know, we got a bit of a shock last season. Maybe we've got more shocks to come, good shocks that is, between now and the end of the season. But yeah, I finally feel like we're getting where we want to be going. We're heading in the right direction now. It has been a bit of an up and down season overall, but you know, when the second half of the season is when it really matters, isn't it? Every game is much more important. All the league games mean more because a defeat now is much more damaging than a defeat early in the season. And obviously all the cup games now, you get in towards quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, all that sort of stuff. It's coming down to the crux of it, isn't it? So it's when you need to be at your best, and hopefully we're coming into it in the right frame of mind and the right form. Joe says, I think the key is Mario's playing well. What a difference she makes. Yeah, it makes a difference. Of course it does. And maybe you're right about the tiredness. You know, she had a busy 2025. Maybe she needed a bit of a rest, and now she's come back and playing better. That's what we need. We need everyone to step up now, don't we, for the rest of the season, because there's still a lot of great stuff to play for, and hopefully something nice to finish with. Ryan says, nice to get the FA Cup this time. It'd be quite something to win the Champions League. And yeah, exactly. We've got a lot to play for. Streetball says, any thoughts about having 4 protected seats? Yeah, actually, that's something that's a good point. Actually, yeah, that was that came up, didn't it? This week. Sometimes I wonder what goes on in the minds of people that come up with these ideas, because I don't understand how that benefits the game, how it benefits the competition. It benefits a couple of teams, maybe. I don't even think it does, to be honest. I don't think it does benefit anybody, really. I don't understand. I can't get my head around who would come up with that idea in the first place, and who would think, oh, actually, that's a good idea. Let's do that. It's crazy. I mean, Andreas, it's madness, isn't it?
I have not read any comment that was positive about this idea. And hopefully they read all the comments or get the feedback from the clubs and the supporters clubs, etc. Everybody says it's ridiculous. That kills it kills what the FA Cup stands for. And if you have seeded 4 teams, then every season the semi-finals will be the same. And for all the other teams competing, of course, the smaller, the tier 4, tier 3 clubs, they know they won't make it to Wembley. But a championship side or a team like 2 years ago, Tottenham Hotspurs qualified for the final for Wembley, and this wouldn't be possible. We would. Every time we would have City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea in the semi-final, and the FA Cup starts at the semi-final. No, I'm totally against this. And even if they say for broadcasters it's more interesting in the semi-finals, etc., no, it's killing the FA Cup as the competition as it is known and respected all over Europe, all over the world. Everybody knows the FA Cup is something special. It's worth more than in Germany the DFB Pokal or the cup in Spain or in France. The FA Cup is something special, and don't start to seed teams. I'm totally against it.
Yeah, well, I think like you said, everybody is. I think by the sound of it, and rightly so, it almost would make the whole FA Cup pointless, wouldn't it? If that's what they did, because like you said, every semi-final every year would be the same. You get the same teams competing in it every year, and it would be totally pointless. And I wouldn't even want Arsenal to be winning it if that was all we had to do. If you're only you could say the same about the League Cup. You've only got to get through a couple of games and you get to the final if you're in the Champions League. But I think that's different. I think with the FA Cup, it has to be a straight knockout. Anybody can play anybody at any point in the competition. It's a normal draw, and that's how it's got to be. And honestly, if they do bring this in, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know it seems a stupid idea that no one likes, but I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they do bring it in. And to me, it would just kill. It would kill the game. Absolutely, it would kill it. There's no reason to do it. There is no the only possible reason is so that you avoid the 7, 8, 9, 10-0 wins when maybe Chelsea play a team from the third tier or something in the earlier rounds. But who cares about that? That's what it's about. The team from the third tier will get such a great experience from playing a Chelsea or a Man City or Arsenal in those rounds. Let them enjoy that. Let them have that opportunity. Don't take it away from them because you're more worried about what it might look like on TV. Who cares? Don't show that game on TV then. It's obvious, isn't it? If Chelsea play West Bromwich Albion women, it's obvious that Chelsea will win quite easily. So don't show the game. But let them enjoy it. Let West Brom women enjoy it, or Sheffield United, whoever it is. Let them enjoy that occasion. Let them enjoy their chance to play against these players. Don't take that away from them. That would just be totally wrong. And I think if the FA or whoever it is that decides these things ultimately, if they decide to bring that in, what I would want is the 4 seeded teams to pull out and say, we're not going to take part then. That's what should happen. They won't because the clubs are too weak and they just think about money. But that's what should happen. And then it'd make the FA look really stupid, wouldn't they? The top 4 teams they want seeded pull out. We're not going to take part then. Unless you keep the FA Cup as normal tradition, we won't play in it. And see what they do then. What they're going to do then? They're going to panic, aren't they? Because you could have a championship team in the final. Imagine that. 2 championship teams in the final. A Wembley Stadium with 4,000 fans in because no one wants to watch it. And that'll be their own fault for making a stupid rule in the first place that's made all the big teams pull out. But it would be absolutely crazy. But the way modern football is, I wouldn't be surprised because there's been so many crazy things that have gone on, so many decisions that have ruined the game, that this would be another nail in that coffin for me if they did. But surely they can't. Surely someone will see sense somewhere along the way and say, no, we're not doing that. It's ridiculous. But let's see. But James says, but it has the possibility of meeting the Chelsea, City or United in earlier rounds. Yeah, no, but I mean, we have that. We've had that possibility, and I would rather have that possibility and play Man City in the early rounds than get a bye to the semi-final. I'd much rather do it properly. And if we get knocked out, we get knocked out. That's what the FA Cup's about, isn't it? That's what it's always been about. You know, you can draw anybody. That's the whole point of it. Anyone can draw anybody in the draw, whether it's, you can have two of the top teams play each other in an early round. You can have a top team play one of the lower teams. That's what it's about. That is the beauty of the FA Cup. You can't change it. You just can't. There you go. Ryan says, there's going to be another 4 WSL games. Yeah, there will be, of course, because of the extra promoted team that's coming up. So, yeah, it will be 4 to go, which is good. We need to have more teams, don't we, in the WSL. Joe says, if the FA stopped meddling in a perfectly okay cup structure and focused on where the real issues lie, we'd be much better off. work on grassroots, lower leagues and stop mid. Exactly that. I totally agree. We've got, unfortunately, the FA are the biggest problem that football's got. It always has been for years and years and years, isn't it? Until someone else comes in and takes over from the FA completely, the game's going to never, ever, because all they're worried about is money. That's what they care about. They don't care about what's good for football. We've got the wrong people running it. There's no doubt about that. Matthew says that's complete rubbish change. Why change the FA Cup? Yeah, exactly. We can't change it, can we? Absolutely not. It'd just be absolutely stupid. And hopefully sense will come through. Agneta says money talks. Well, it does, unfortunately. I agree with her, but it can't on this occasion. Regenera's, that's the beauty of the FA Cup indeed. So the minnows can get to the final. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if you see the top four, the minnows will never get to the final, will they? Because they won't be allowed to, because the semi-finals will always be the same four teams. But anyway, it's not going to happen, is it? Don't worry about that. But this season, while the FA Cup's still normal, we are going to go and win it. Let's win it while it's still the competition that it's always been. Let's win it while we still can. But that's a couple of weeks away yet. We've got a big week to come, of course. Man City on Sunday. I'll be here for that one for you. So join me for the game, 12 o'clock kickoff. So I'll be here for that one on Sunday. It's going to be good. And of course, Andreas will be there. So there'll be another fantastic vlog, I'm sure, coming your way as well at some point early part of next week. So stay tuned for that. Of course, Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be able to do the game Wednesday, the early kickoff. It could be difficult with work and whatnot. So I'm not sure, but I'll obviously be able to watch it. I don't know if I'll be able to do the coverage on the channel, but then we'll see. Of course, we'll be back next week to look back on another big week. Hopefully another successful week, another couple of wins would be really good, wouldn't it? Let's hope so. So yes, it's not quite the weekend yet. We've got one more day to get through tomorrow before the weekend. But anyway, hopefully the weather might be a bit better tomorrow because it's been awful today. Joe says, enjoyed the show as ever. Cheers, boys, and all in the chat. And yourself, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, I won't see you on Sunday's show, will I? Because you'll be at the game. Agneta says, good night and thanks. No, good night to you as well up there in Sweden in the snow. I'm sure it must be snowing up there. Probably, which would be nice, I suppose, but you're more used to it than we are. So yeah, thanks for joining us, of course, Andreas, as well. I know we obviously last week we couldn't get a show. I was away and the internet signal would have been rubbish and I didn't really get time in there. We were busy and stuff was going on, but anyway, we're back now, so good to have you. You enjoyed the show this week. I was a bit more positive this week, wasn't it, with a lot of positive results and performances.
Yeah, exactly. And coming and talking in the show about being world champions, that's something special. And I don't know whether this will happen so soon again. But yeah, that was nice. I would like to add another funny episode. On last Wednesday before the Asfar game, I went to a pub and there were a lot of Arsenal supporters. And on another table, I saw the journalist Daisy Goodhand. Maybe you know her. She writes for the Guna fanzine, and I always read her analysis and comments, and I think she always gets to the point in her articles. And so I was brave enough to go to her table and say, excuse me, are you Daisy Goodhand? And she said, yes, I am. And we had a nice talk. And yeah, at the end of the talk, she took my mobile phone and typed in her number and said, now you have my number. You can always contact me. Oh, I would have never asked her for her phone number. She did it by herself. So maybe in a few weeks, I will try to contact her and ask her if she wants to come to our show, just as guest appearance for maybe 30 minutes or how much time she has. I didn't want to contact her right after the game. I think, yeah, give her some time, but well, I have her number and I will try to get in contact with her. This was really a nice episode and I wanted to share it with you.
Oh, fantastic. No, that'd be good, actually. Yeah, get her on. If she can come on a show, that'd be good. Yeah, because I think she's been on one or two other shows I've seen as well. So, no, it'd be good to get her on. She knows her stuff, definitely. There's no doubt about that. That's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Lethal Chicken says, take care indeed. Joe says, oh, I forgot. I spent the whole half time chatting to Mr. and Mrs. Russo. Did you? Oh, wow. Fantastic. What a half time that must have been. Oh, wow. So everyone was meeting everybody, weren't they, over this last week or so? So that's good, isn't it? Which is good to see. Oh, yeah, there is snow. Look, see, there's some snow emojis there. So I thought there would be snow in Sweden, as there generally is. But yeah, we have not got snow here yet, but we might do still. It's still February. But no, we're looking forward to the weekend. Obviously, a big game. And it's been good to get the show back on. Thank you for all your comments, as always. And yes, we are, of course, world champions. I mean, wow. Well, we're European champions and now we're world champions. The only thing missing is English champions. We need to be English champions as well, just to complete the set. So we need to beat Man City on Sunday and go on a run. They need to fall apart completely, which wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. And we sneak in at the end and get our third title in a row. That'd be good, wouldn't it? But let's wait and see what happens. Still lots to play for, of course, this season. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us. Of course, thanks to Andreas, as always, for being with us. So thanks for all your comments. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget as well, of course, Sunday, the big game, Man City. It's going to be a good one, isn't it? Joey says there, the only in the world. Indeed, yeah, no one else will ever win it. Just us, that's it. We've done it now. We've won the lot. So, yeah. It feels good, doesn't it? It feels good to have done it. But yes, it's going to mean nothing if we lose on Sunday, though, is it? So let's make sure we don't do that. So join us on Sunday. If you are at the game, enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be a great game. And we are going to win. Of course we are, because we are Arsenal. We're going to do it again, aren't we? So join me on Sunday lunchtime for that big game. And, of course, a big week for Arsenal, as has been the case for a while now. So let's enjoy it. It's going well at the minute. Let's keep this momentum going. Let's have a good weekend. And, yeah, we'll see you, of course, on Sunday. So thanks for watching. Thanks to Andreas. Thanks to you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on Sunday. Come on, you Gunners. Come on. Let's do it. Let's do it. See you Sunday, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.